Oh, no, I need a bigger book. Hang on. Trying to get on. I'm not sure if you guys can. I got new Wi-Fi. It may still not be working, but we shall see.
What?
No, I'm talking to my people. Yeah. Hey!
I'm always so impressed, like when I figure it out. My fans laugh at me so much because like sometimes I literally they'll comment. I'll be like, how do I do this?
I know. Well, I've had Wi-Fi issues, and everyone's getting mad at me, and so like I had to go by the window, and then I have to turn off my Wi-Fi. But I'm gonna go back in my room, and hopefully, are you guys all still there? Can you hear me, Kim?
I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Okay. Hi, beautiful. Yes. And if there's an issue, you guys just text in the comments, and we will. I'll turn off my Wi-Fi and go to 5G, and we'll be good.
Look at you.
Hello.
Hello.
Do you guys want to see? Look at my tripod.
Wow.
That is what I'm stacking the phone on. It's
I see a
very
lot
fancy.
of books.
How are you this morning?
I'm good. You know, it's like that. Like, I kept thinking, oh, you know, during quarantine, I'm gonna have so much time, and it's definitely.
I just turned.
There
we go.
You know, like remote learning. Can you hear me? You are totally. Oh,
Yeah, I turned off my Wi-Fi, so it's just on 5G because you were stuck. So, okay, I'm back.
Is that better?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, good. I was
And
just
this light is good.
It's so real right now. Yeah, you look good.
So, okay, the question was, how are you? And you were answering and it froze. So we'll start again. How are you this morning?
I'm good. I'm gonna turn you up a little bit. You know, it's so interesting. I think the first couple weeks for me, and it feels like for a lot of people, it was just sort of this like insane mad dash to sort of adapt and like, you know, everyone, I don't know, my body was like in fight or flight kind of thing, like figure it out and
Yeah.
You know, and make sure everyone's okay, and parents and, you know, friends who, you know, who their livelihood, how they, you know, pay for their food on the table is all of a sudden ending. And so it was this sort of like incredible sort of like urgent stress. And now it's kind of turning into, wow, we're gonna be here for a little bit. Like, so what's it gonna be? And then it was so interesting, you know, connecting with you, because you were already solving those problems in such an incredible way. You're so amazing. I don't even know you.
I was just on the phone with my agent. I was like, I gotta go. I'm going on with Kim Raver in 30 seconds. My book agent, I was trying to figure some stuff out about my paperback. She's like, you know, Jen, it was like you were made for this. And I thought, well, yeah. I mean, it's not like I'm earning any income right now, but I love this. I love the being of service. And so and I'm able to do that through my platform and through this kind of stuff. So it's not hard for me, and I love doing it, you know? So thank you.
Well, but it's so interesting because a lot of people, I think also what resonates with you so much is that like this feeling of helplessness, like being stuck at home. And if like a lot of us are, you know, doers and, you know, wanting to help, and it's so kind of global right now, even before all of this happened, before the pandemic, of like, what can I do? How can I help? And with whatever element it was in, whether it was like global warming for you, or, you know, wherever, you know, poverty, feeding people, whatever it was, I think for all of us, it's like that feeling of like, well, but how do I do it? How do I make a change? And, you know, and you're kind of in this very, it seems effortless way, kind of leading the charge, which is so insane.
From my bed!
Right?
From my bed!
That's fucking insane. It's like, but
from my one-bedroom apartment, Kim. Okay?
Right? But that is like what's incredible, is like figuring that out and doing it. And it's just, it blows my mind. And I literally get emotional. Like I get, because it makes me feel hopeful. And I think a lot of us I think that that's what this time is, right? It's
I
crazy.
couldn't agree more. I mean, that's my tattoo, right? I show everyone, but I got it in August. So this gesture that we're doing, right before I got on with you about 30 minutes ago, I posted a video with 10 slides, 10 of the volunteers saying who they were, who they're doing all the hard part. Like this is effortless for me in many ways, but they're doing the like nitty gritty, calling people. And this gesture to me is a symbol of hope, because $100, it's a lot, and it's a lot for people who don't have money right now. But it's going to go away. It's going to, you're going to buy your groceries and that's it. It's a one-time gift card. But to me, it's a gesture of hope.
Yeah.
And it's also like, here's someone who cares.
Sorry, my son. Just come and pop your head and say hi. You're hope. I did.
Oh, hi guys. Hi.
That's my youngest.
Hi.
How much percent do you have?
I need that charger. Look, I'm live.
Aren't you adorable?
I have. Thank you. Can you find another one? Because that would be so helpful. My kids.
I didn't, because my hearing. I didn't hear there was someone else. I just saw you like. I was like, what are you praying? What are you doing?
Hope.
That's what I thought you were doing. I was like, you're so dramatic.
I just learned that about you.
Yeah, because I read lips. So
I'm waiting for I've ordered your book, and so you read lips. That's amazing. Do I need to get closer? Tell me what I need to do.
No, it's good, because see, I've got these very expensive, fancy hearing aids, and technology is amazing. So right now, it's streaming through to my hearing, into my head. So if I didn't have these in, I couldn't hear. And I can't, like, if the phone's ever on speakerphone, even with my hearing aids, I can't. It has to be through the streaming. So I wasn't born deaf with capital D. It progressively got worse, and I have tinnitus. So I can't hear without them. I can hear, but it sounds like this.
Oh, wow.
So I can hear some sound. But so the hearing aids are magic. Like, so for stuff like this, it's like I can go in the other room and I can still hear you, because it's streaming right into my head.
That's incredible. Right, but isn't that also like how just with the little blip that I read, that is also kind of what has informed you on who you are. Right?
Absolutely.
And I feel like
amazing.
That also, I think that's super helpful for people who are watching, and because it's that thing of like what seems like or is actually a difference and a difficulty, you can shift it into kind of your gift and your super.
And a superpower. And I'm a big fan of the word and it still sucks sometimes. And I still want to go fucking crazy sometimes because they're ringing in my head. So, two things could be true at once. It's absolutely, when people talk about me, they say, Jen Pastiloff is the best listener I've ever met. And I made a career out of listening. My workshops are people sharing and listening. And you think, the irony of a deaf lady doing that. And so I've turned it into a superpower. But that's not to take away from the fact that I still don't have bad days, or, it's also like, it took me a while to get here. I had a lot of shame around it and denial. So I guess everyone's different, but there are absolute ways to find gifts in things all the time, which is what beauty hunting is.
Which is kind of what I think we all have to do right now. And that's sort of what
Yep.
I mean. Like, this shit it's so real. The fact that, like, in my brain, like what I started to say at the beginning of this is like, it was sort of like survival mode, and now we're deep in it. And it's like, what are we going to do with this? Right?
I don't know. And I just have to say, somebody wrote the funniest comment before. They go, Jen, stop using your damn Nokia flip phone, because I've been having trouble with. Oh, I wish I had a Nokia flip phone. Whoever wrote that, it's an iPhone. Anyway, yes.
But I think it's like, what are we going to do with it? I think it goes to the point of you building your listening, like metaphorically, right? Not to be so esoteric, but it's like, that's what this time is. It's like, what am I going to do with it? Right? Like, and there's going to be some good days, and there's going to be some bad days, and there's going to be some illuminating days, and there's going to be some days where it's like, yeah, I'm done with this.
Kim, you're so hitting the nail on the head, and it's absolutely accurate what you're saying. And also, I'm not going to spoil my book, but I'll tell you how it ends, just with 2 words that I say all the time. Now what? And so I think that's really what you're saying. I was like, what are you going to do with it? So now what? Also, I had a call. I did this the other day with Mark Duplass, who I'm a huge fan of, and and now he's like soul brother. And he kept saying something I thought was really interesting. He's like, people keep talking about like when things go back, when we go back. He goes, I've trained myself to think about it's going to be going forward. And that shift made such a difference for me in hearing that. Like going forward, and it's all about, I think being stuck inside is really, people reckoning with listening, deep listening. To the world, to each other, to ourselves.
Well, but it's so, it's funny because I feel like I started to try to do this thing before the whole pandemic and before quarantine. And it was this thing of like, did you ever notice that, like, I don't know, for me, when I was working or whatever it was, I constantly was sort of thinking about like, oh, I can't wait till vacation, or oh, I can't wait for the weekend, or oh, I can't wait, or oh, when I get that thing, or when I get that job, or like, especially as an actor, right? There's a lot of time, downtime, and then downtime, and then crazy time. And even with friends, other artists, and people in different businesses, I think a human thing is to constantly look forward, like, when I do this or when I get this, I will be this, right? And I kept thinking, holy shit, if I keep doing that, before I know it, it's like, it's gonna be done, right? Like life. So I better start being more in the now.
Many years ago, I heard someone on one of these shows, I don't even remember, it could have been Dr. Phil, who, I don't know, but, they called it a destination junkie, and it never forgot that. I'll be happy when I, it's like, oh God, I live so much of my life like that.
Because I think it takes us out of ourselves sometimes, because I think sometimes when we're in ourselves, it's really hard, right? Like it's really on a day-to-day, even before pre-COVID, on a day-to-day basis, we are all managing a lot of hard stuff, like whether it's to pay the bills, juggling long hours at work, and being a great parent, or even an okay parent, or just trying, being there for your parents. All the things that we feel are constantly the things that we have. We try to find ways to kind of get out of ourselves, because it's really, it's like, it's hard to be present. And so now I think it's like, you know what? No choice. Gotta do it. You gotta listen to your kids. You gotta be present with your partner.
Right.
Be present with yourself, because also the things that we used to use to get out of ourselves, guess what? We can't do it. We can't be
so right. It's so right.
Gym all the time, or like go cocktail hour all the time. I mean, although it feels like it's like, is it time yet?
I thought about that the other day, because I thought, I think I've been in denial my whole life that I have ADD. I mean, maybe everybody does, but I've noticed it's so much worse. And someone said, because you're not as distracted and you're not running, it's coming, all the things are coming up so much more because you don't have all the other, you're not running out the door all the time. So for example, I put something on the stove and I swear 2 seconds later, the minute I walk away, I forget until I smell it.
Right.
It's
my thing has been anxiety. Like, it's weird. Like, I'm not an anxious person, but like, I'm baking bread like every person in the world right now, which is actually like a really cool thing. But like, even while I'm doing,
did you say I'm gonna eat bread?
I'm baking bread.
Oh, I was like, eating bread. Good. You want a medal? Oh, that's amazing. Wait, that would be like very Hollywood. It'd be like, I'm eating bread.
Can you believe it? No, I'm baking.
Wait, I'm getting my ponytail holder.
Baking bread.
I love that. I haven't done that yet, but I keep asking my friends who I'm chatting with, can I come over and do like a curbside pickup and get some? Because I'll eat it.
I'll drop one off for you.
Really? Okay, I'll text you my address after. So I want to talk to you about something because I noticed as I texted you, you did a post with our friend Alex Dawson, who, you guys, Alex is a magical yoga and meditation teacher, amazing human, lovely, beautiful human being, and actress, writer. And I didn't know your friends were there. I saw that photo. So talk to me about what you're doing with the anxiety. Are you doing yoga or?
Well, yeah. Well, that's why I started with the baking the bread, because it's something that I normally don't have time for, and it's a way. I don't know. It's interesting. It's like a way I feel like, oh, I can provide for my family.
Oh, it's beautiful. Are you joking? It's the most, and it's like you're transferring that love, and there's the meditational aspect of the
thing that we can't have. I feel like while it's like the end, not to be an end result. Oh my God, that's my son knocking. He's gonna have to go around the other way and figure it out. And there's something nice about like beginning, middle, and end and process.
Love it.
Which I think in quarantine has been lacking for me. Like I usually get to go to work and I'm working on a script, and then I get to go do the scene. And, but so I've been trying to do that. And that was really kind of amazing because a friend of mine sort of walked me through it step by step and taught me. And so
did the kids help?
Yeah, they helped me because a lot of it, it's like every half hour you have to fold it kind of. And the kids are like learning how to cook. But to go back to Alex, yeah. Sorry, I'm distracted because like literally like my kids are. It's like they're coming out of the.
Kim, who isn't distracted? I mean, like I'm like Charlie. It's all good.
I can hear him downstairs because he was trying to get in the kitchen and now he's having to figure it out. That's another thing, right? Like it's sharing space. Here he comes. Do you want to come say hi? Come on, come say hi now that you've like. I texted you and I told you I was going live, and then you're like, sorry.
Who is this? Another kid?
Hi.
That's my.
Hi. How are you?
Okay, he's getting food. See, they're all figuring it
So
out.
Kim, one of my hashtags, one of my famous hashtags is real motherfucking life, and that's what this is right now. Okay.
100%. So I wanted, to continue your thought with Alex Dawson, who is incredible. She's really, I have to say, I mean, an amazing friend of mine. But the other day I was doing yoga with her, and
my husband's bringing me coffee in.
Wait, can I have some?
Can Kim have some coffee?
Here,
we're gonna trade. She made us bread.
Pour it right in.
And yes, we'll be right over. Thank you.
Pour it in here.
Thanks, baby. Love you. Real motherfucking life.
Real motherfucking life, and you gotta
Okay, so Alex Dawson, everybody find her and take her yoga classes. But Kim is talking about her, so she's a dear friend, and then Robert came in.
It's interesting because talking about like anxiety and trying to get it through just everything that we're going through. I think also a lot of times I am putting on like a just get through it mode. And I'm not realizing either that I'm anxious, or which then kind of either comes out as like a snap, like in the kitchen, or like open the door yourself, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then she did this like simple little exercise where we just had to kind of lie down and lie on our belly, and I started like weeping. Mm-hmm. And it's like just getting back into like breath and self-care, like, because I know a lot of parents out there and a lot of people, like, it just also people who are alone, there's not the awareness sometimes of self-care during.
Yes. And it's a privilege for a lot of people too, even to take, 10 minutes and be able to. And so, but
I feel like we have to do a shout out for, all of the first responders and healthcare workers. And, I feel like the people also working in the grocery stores and the pharmacies. And I mean, talk about like, it is a privilege to be able to take that 10 minutes of, self-care. I'm so grateful for them.
Yeah, me too. I saw your video, and a bunch of you guys did the videos, for the first responders, and it's so important. We owe everything to them right now, and the health worker and the grocery store. Yeah, I think about the people in the grocery store. On one hand, I'm like, oh, I'm grateful you still have a job, because a lot of people lost their job, but they're risking their lives.
Yeah, I know. It's also, isn't it really, I think what's so amazing about this time for me is I think we all realize it's illuminated, and hopefully we realized it before, but I think even more so, that all the different jobs that we all do are of such value and needed. And I don't know, I think again, like to go back to what this time means and what is this time, I think like never before to see like universally, like worldwide, the coming together. It's just been a really sort of profound feeling for me, which then goes back to that sort of hope aspect, because I think that, look, I think there's different kinds of hope, right? Like there's like hope and I'm going to be passive. And then there's hope and I'm going to be active. And that's like you know?
Some days.
Well, yeah. But that's why then also it's so important to stay connected to other people, because the days that we don't feel hopeful, or the days that we do feel scared, or the days that it's just all too much.
Absolutely.
And then I think it's really important for those of us to kind of go back to sort of what I was saying before I got distracted with my kids. And
like, distracted's good in this sense.
It's like sometimes we're not aware that we're not well, right? Or that we're anxious, or that we're overwhelmed. And again, these are all real luxuries. I am very aware that I have shelter, I have food, and that's another reason I wanted to connect with you, to make sure that we take care of our community, the people in our community who don't, because I mean, a lot of our crew on Grey's Anatomy, they all work like most of us. I know. And they're out of work now.
What are they doing? I know my friend, so my friend Sarah Treem, she was going to hop on with me, but she was the creator and showrunner for The Affair. I don't know if you ever saw it. You probably didn't. You're so busy, but so good. But she was talking with my friend Maria Bello, and they were like, we need to do something for, you know, the crew. And because what are they doing? You know, what are they? I mean, I guess unemployment, but.
Well, and there's there's funds that we're trying to make sure have funds in them, because, you know, so that's, I think, you know,
it's so weird.
I know, if we're making sure, you know.
It's also interesting, like going back to what you said about all jobs matter. And also, like, it reminds me all the years, you'll see when you read my book, all the years I was waiting tables, you know, and I'm sure I waited on you. I worked at the newsroom on Robertson across from the Ivy.
I waited tables too, so, right?
But, Kim, I was at the same restaurant for almost 14 years. So it was such an interesting thing, because, like, you'd come in, I'd be 21, and you came in, you know, and then I'm 35. And so it's very, like, it's in LA, it's a bizarre thing, unless that's your career. But if you're, you know, people are like, oh, people would say stuff. I would have thought you would have made it by now. I mean, just made something of yourself by now. But anyway, all those years, I really thought I was less than, and I was ashamed. And especially in that environment, the newsroom in its heyday was like the place to be. And everyone was coming in and having a meeting and selling a movie. And now I look back and I just
like
what did you say?
Just hearing that makes me like.
It makes me, and I met some wonderful, wonderful people, but my self-worth was so bad then, and I always felt less than. And now I look back and I feel so much compassion. I'm the same exact person, and I feel like this was an opportunity to really level us all out, like how the discrepancy between money, yes, and that won't change probably, but the value that we give to, oh, you just work in the supermarket, oh, you're just right, you know, it's bullshit.
Right, it's total bullshit.
I got a potty mouth, but it's
I have like a New York mouth, and I'm always like,
well, yeah, I mean, but you're on TV where on shows where you can't say those words, so just use it now. Fuck shit.
No, but I think it is. I mean, I think, like, look, it saddens me that it's taken this event to kind of give clarity to a lot of people that, that the equanimity that we all have, no matter what we're doing, and the importance and the value of, but I saw this amazing post of, this girl who, she's a comedian, like a stand-up, and she's working in Trader Joe's, and she was just talking about how the feedback that she's getting from people is so different now.
I know.
Oh, and it's so beautiful, and and I think that the key also then for me is making sure that holds once we all leave this.
That's what Mark Duplass and I talked about, and that's what he was talking about going forward. And I thought, well, there's no way to guarantee. The only thing that we can do, you, me, Mark, is be that ourselves.
Right.
Is continue that. I call it, in my book, I call it being a human thank you, or doing love. And so, like, that's all I can do. I can't make someone, like, you better still remain grateful for Trader Joe's employees when this is all over. But, we can model that and lead by example. That's all we can ever do, right? So I'm going to commit to that. And
I'm going to commit to that.
And it's easy to say because, right? If you've ever had someone die or something right after, you feel like, I'm never going to take anyone for granted again, or
right.
And then life creeps back in.
Right.
So it's
about building I think it's about building ourselves. And it goes to what you were talking about with self-esteem. And it's so interesting because I don't know if we're ever kind of taught. I don't know. Self-esteem is such a huge thing. Like, right. Like, I don't know. It took me so long to start working on that. And we all on the exterior have whatever that is. And I think a lot of that sometimes the way people react to one another is our lack of self-esteem, right? Or the lack thereof.
So I'm just trying to read what people are saying. With, that's a really good idea. Someone's saying I should do a chat and feed with a Trader Joe employee. That's a great idea.
Do a what?
With a Trader Joe employee.
Yeah.
I should do one of these.
Yes, definitely. So I was just talking sort of about self-esteem, and I think when there is less than generosity of spirit is when people are feeling lacking. And so I don't know, maybe if with us kind of coming together, it's just building that, and that we continue building. And it's exactly like you're saying, you can't make other people do that. And I have to commit myself to continuing doing that and catch myself. I think I heard someone say oh yeah, I was an asshole. The other, we have to catch ourselves, right?
Exactly. And that's my whole, don't be an asshole, right? It's like, I own that website. It's like, it's holding yourself accountable. So I said, with Mark, I said, yeah, it's like you wake up in the morning, I go, who am I? I'm kind, may I have the courage to be who I say I am. I'm love, right? I'm love. And then I go out and I'm a dick to the teller at the bank. Well, that doesn't add up. And I'm human, so it's okay. Sometimes we are assholes, right? Sometimes your kid snaps at you and then you snap at someone, but then we come back. And it's to be more congruent and not be an asshole.
Right. And compassion and forgiveness, and I guess all the things that we're trying to cultivate right now. Right.
Yeah, and this is just, I don't know. I when I was on with Kevin McKidd, I guess it was last week, he was so lovely, as you know. And he, God, with the accent, it was amazing how many people were like, what? He has an accent?
I know.
It was hilarious.
I know, it's true.
So, but he was so sweet. He's like, I'll call people if you want. Like, he volunteered. I'm just sitting here to call. So we're calling the people who've applied. We've paused applications because we had 1,000 and we didn't have enough money.
That's amazing. Once
we get $100,000, then we'll open it up again. Do you know what I mean? We didn't want to get 2 million applications and only be able to send 800 grocery cards out. So we're calling the people, and there's this human to human connection. But I talked to my partner yesterday, Dana Mondello, And I'm like, you know, if this grows bigger, the calling people it's just not going to be feasible. So I was telling Jaina yesterday, Jaina on Station 19, that I thought what we can do is, in the end, like on an email on the website, right? If you need a chat, if you need human to human contact,
Right.
send us your number and someone will call you. It's not therapy, it's just a chat.
Right.
And that way, if someone really does, we'll reach out. But I just don't think we're going to be able to, if this keeps growing, which I'm intending it to.
It will keep growing. So when this keeps growing.
You're right.
Couldn't we do like a telethon kind of thing though? Like,
well, I mean, like, it's, I'm just so proud. I mean, there's like 85,000 in the GoFundMe, and then there's about 9,000 that's on hold that's coming from Elizabeth Guild. Yeah, so it's almost $100,000, and it's like, I'm not a celebrity, so I wasn't able to dump, you know, $1 million in there or anything. This is all like small donations, and except for a few, you know, like Krista Vernoff, who's my fairy god sister, you know, she gave a big chunk and then matched all these donations, but most of them were just like $5, $20. But I know with the people I've been getting and with that, there's no reason that we can't have $1 million in that account and help all those people. Then I started the Dork It Out Dance Challenge.
That is so fabulous.
Did you see Ron Perlman's yesterday?
Oh my God. So amazing. Amazing. Really, ones are like so creative and so amazing.
So like, I'm like, okay, with this, so my goal is to get Ellen DeGeneres. I keep asking, I'm like, are you friends with Ellen? I am going to get Ellen. Ellen is a queen dork dancer. So like once, you know, it just takes a little thing, and then we'll be able to
just keep putting it out there, and it will happen.
Well, yeah, and there's a whole team of volunteers, and it's like, it's such a beautiful, unified thing. You know, nothing would be possible without them, without me, without you. It's all of us.
Will you just tell like the fans that are on here now kind of what they can do?
Yeah, you can go donate. The link is in my Instagram bio or onbeinghuman2020.com. onbeinghuman2020.com. Hold on.
And you guys, this all started out, I think, and I'll have you correct me. Oh, that's her amazing book, which is in the mail. I can't wait to read it.
So it's just add a 2020 on the end. onbeinghuman2020.com.
It also came, and also you posted, do you have food, right? Are you like, and
that's how it started. I posted a little thing and I just wrote, do you have food to eat? This was a literal question. And the reason I did that is because I've been cultivating this online community for a while, and I do this in real life, and I've created this I always joke, I'm pretty terrible at most things, and I'm good at two things, and I'm really good at them. One is listening, and the other is making people feel safe. Mm-hmm. And I've built a career out of that. And so I know my people, and so I knew when I posted that question, people would answer honestly, and other people would step in, and that's exactly what happened. So people, you know, would comment, no, actually, I have no food right now, and my kid doesn't have diapers. And then another one commented and was like, I'm going to DM you and send you. And so this all started happening. People started donating me money. So then I'd Venmo it out, and I was just Venmoing, PayPaling. And then I was like, okay, this is becoming overwhelming. And one of my followers, I'd never met her, and now we talk 50 times a day. She sent me a message. She said, you know, I just brought groceries for one of your followers. It feels really good. I want to keep going. Can I start you a GoFundMe? I said, yes. And then I thought, all right, I'll do an online, my workshop out of my living room. And like $12,000 came in. I did it. And then I thought, how can I keep generating money to go to the GoFundMe? And I started this chat and feed. And so it all started with that post. Do you have food to eat?
Which is incredible because it is such a necessity. And I think it's, that's the probably one of the scariest things right now is to not have to be able to provide the basics for your family. But I think it's also very hard for people to ask for help.
You got it.
The fact that you put it out there.
You got it, Kim.
Hopefully takes away the shame. And because we are all here and we all have to do our part to help. And, you know,
I bow down to every single person who asks. And I know it's not easy. And especially especially in a public way, to make that comment. And I said, this is what I said in the post. I said, if you don't ask, we don't know. So, you know, let go of shame on this one. We can't help if you don't tell us. And that, I think that gave people like, okay, I need help. And then look, the truth is, we can't help everyone. And that's always going to be hard.
Right.
We don't have the manpower, woman power, or the money, but we'll do what we can.
The ones that we are helping, you are out there helping, it then generates, I think, this incredible thing of opening up that person who was helped, who then gets on their feet to then help.
Absolutely. And I just want to say to everyone watching, that for everyone to follow someone on the internet, on Instagram, called the Black Fairy Godmother official. So that's my dear friend Simone Gordon, and she's a Black Fairy Godmother, but she started doing this stuff, and I was, you know, on her team for a couple of years. She basically does this direct giving where she's helping people. It started with women of color who had kids with special needs, and now she just helps everyone. But I learned that from her, the direct giving, the like bypassing a big charity and like going, okay, someone needs help here. And it's beautiful. But it's her, so everyone follow Black Fairy Godmother official.
And I think also, you know, what I've been trying to do along with that is, you know, checking in on my neighbors. I have neighbors that are older, and I wanted to make sure that they have food, and, you know,
I love that.
They need a home cooked meal. And
I love that you're doing that.
Well, I just, you know, I think sometimes we're so, especially like, I'm a New Yorker. I mean, I'm not living there now, but it's like, you know, in New York before all of this and 9/11, like, you very much kind of live on to yourself, like, right?
Yeah.
That's like protective mode. You got to get through. And so to open up and kind of make sure, knock on, you know, on those who need. You know,
absolutely. I love
and globally.
I got you, right? It's just like, hey, I got you. Kim, you're such a lovely human being. I'm so glad I know you're so busy with homeschooling and doing all these things that you're doing with your family and baking bread. So so yeah, just encourage your fans to donate. And if you have any friends that have high visibility that want to hop in my fancy chat and feed, send them my way.
I will. You're amazing. I love you.
I love you. Love you. Thanks, you guys.
Yes. Bye, you guys.
Bye.
Thank you.